Look at these other podcasts out here with a point. Doing interviews, trying to educate you, or change the world. No, we don't do that here. Here, we look around, see things, go places, do things, and round up the best so you can forget the rest. Here, we rank 'em up.
All right, welcome to Rank 'em Up. I'm here with Lilo and Don Pablo and Kevberto again. Like always, welcome into our heads. This is where we rank things. This is where we make lists because why not?
Man, being in my head's a scary place, bro. You sure you wanna invite people in there?
Yeah, because today we're talking about video games.
Yes.
Who doesn't like to play video games? We all do, right?
That's true.
We played some today. Probably all of us have played a video game sometime today.
I like when my family talks about video games because I keep the average age of the gamer is only going up, and it's still higher than what I am. So I could say, hey man, I'm not even average age of video gamer.
That's true. The average age is like 30-something.
Exactly, right? Yeah, 34 I think. So get off my back, family. Number one. Number two, more girls play games than guys if you count mobile.
Yep. That's true story.
That's right. Candy Crush is killer with that.
Yeah. And if you're going to count mobile, then iPhone is like the biggest selling game console ever.
True. That's right. We've had some positive feedback, some very positive feedback on our first show. We thank you for that very much. We appreciate you guys supporting us and listening to the show. And give us some more feedback. Let us know if you have any show topics you want us to tackle. Anything, send us your lists, what you thought about last week's show. Where can they send that, Don?
It's very easy. Just go to Twitter, and the show account is RankEmUp, @RankEmUp, all one word, RANKEMUP. Or, of course, I guess we can all go around giving our Twitter handles really quick. @Pablo303, @Kevberto.
@Craig_D_Aragon.
What?
Do you know your Twitter?
Good luck.
Yeah, that was a joke.
Right.
Yeah, and then mine is @Halil_Santos. You'll know it because it's the Lilo Santos.
Yeah, it's really easy to find. It took me 5 seconds to find him because there's nobody else named that. So if you type in those things, it'll automatically come up. And also, I believe Facebook fan page @RankEmUp. Leave your suggestions there, or comments, or questions.
All right, so we were sitting here discussing them, so we might as well just rank them up. All right, who's going to go first this week? I decided who has watched an action movie most recently.
Does Game of Thrones count?
I don't think it does. That's a series.
Was it a marathon or just one episode?
No, it was one episode because sadly I'm caught up. It's the worst thing ever being caught up. Hashtag first world problems.
Yeah.
Ant-Man like 2 weeks ago.
Ooh, that's more recent than I have.
That's more recent than me as well.
Does Wreck-It Ralph count as an action movie? I don't think it does.
I don't think so.
That's an animated movie.
It's a drum. All right.
Yeah.
Gilberto, you're first.
Okay.
Let's go with your number 5.
Okay, so
Video games.
My number 5 video games. Okay, this was my very first console. This was back in 1996. I've always wanted I begged my mom to get us a video game console.
Who didn't do that?
Of course.
Right.
No.
That is an experience that every single child is.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I am Mexican, so we were a family of 6.5 because my baby sister, my baby sister wasn't, she wasn't fully
She couldn't
functional.
play video games.
Exactly.
Right.
So, money was tight. And my mom, after my little brother and I begged her for the Sega Genesis, she bought it for us.
You were a Sega kid?
Yes.
Interesting.
I remember it was $100. $100. I went to
Wow, no way.
Whoa.
You were a Sega kid or a Nintendo?
I had both.
You were both. There you go. You make fun of me. All right, what about you, Lilo?
I was a Nintendo kid all the way, man. Nintendo for life.
I had Nintendo. My brother had Sega. That's
except for PlayStation.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a longer conversation. Go ahead,
Go ahead. Sorry about that.
So
no.
We were told very, firmly that we were going to get, the video game system, but they did not consider that, we needed games.
There is that catch, yeah.
Yes. So we were lucky enough that this Sega Genesis came with a game, which was Columns. And
oh, nice.
This was the Tetris of Sega Genesis, and it was my very first video game. since it came with the video game system.
Yeah.
And it was amazing because we spent hours and hours just, trying to master this game and trying to figure it out first because this was brand new for us. So, Columns. It was
Sega Genesis.
Sega Genesis Columns.
Wow, I've never played that game. It sounds like Tetris.
I never heard of that game.
It was
basically Tetris.
Yes, it was.
Tetris on the Genesis.
All right, here's my number 5. I was in college when this game came out, and I quickly became, I won't say this about any other game, I became an expert at this game. There was nobody that I knew that was better than me at this game.
I think I know where you're going with this.
I was in a fraternity. We would get in we would play tournaments with this game. I would win every game. I don't like to brag like that. I'm not going to say that about any other game. This game, I was dominant. I was completely dominant. And I think that's why I like it so much.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's one of my reasons later, by the way.
This game was NFL 2K1 on the Dreamcast.
Dang.
Oh, nice.
Dang.
This game, we would play in tournaments in the fraternity house. I would let the opponent pick who they would want me to be, and I would still beat them all over the place. They were on the D-pad. If you push down on the D-pad, you could pitch the ball like it was a rugby ball, and nobody knew that. You could just pitch it. And I would play keep away every play, just playing keep away, pitching the ball, and I could win every single game, and it was amazing.
So you were only dominant because you treated it like rugby.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I could win the game off of like one possession a quarter,
right?
Because I would play keep away the whole time.
Dang, man. You know what? It's a strategy.
You know what?
Yeah. I'm not going to make fun.
NFL 2K1.
That was Randy Moss.
Fantastic.
Randy Moss, right on the cover.
Yeah, it was Randy Moss.
Nice.
Yeah.
I remember playing that.
2K1. That was a good one. All right. My number 5. Actually, it's funny that you brought up the Dreamcast because I will say that was actually one of my favorite systems. It came out way before.
The Dreamcast was fantastic.
Yeah, it was years ahead of its time, which was also its downfall.
Right.
In my mind.
The little LCD screen on the controller, the memory card and the controller, that was amazing because you could call your plays on the NFL 2K. Yep. You could call your plays on that little controller so nobody could see what it was.
Right.
Madden still has that problem.
Yes, it does.
Yes, even if you mix them up, everyone's like, "Oh, you picked Red Dog Zero."
Yeah, you picked it on the controller. Anyway, please, I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. My number 5 was Power Stone, and Power Stone was a 4-person beat 'em up. It was essentially like Street Fighter on steroids with extra people, but it was done like it was all in 3D. So you had like this entire 360-degree rotation of an arena. And you had like all these people just coming in and just beating the snot out of everybody. But then like there was a cool part where if you collected enough of the Power Stones during the battle, you would actually turn into like this really huge, beastly looking character, right? So there's always one character that I picked, and every time I would it would be my goal to get all the Power Stones immediately because he would turn into what looked like Goku from Dragon Ball Z. And I'm like, exactly. And I'm like, yes, fireballs all the way. So yes. Number 5, Power Stone.
All right, Don.
All right, I'll stick with my Nintendo roots here, and the reason I picked this game is because it's very nostalgic. The way Nintendo makes games now, when they have multiple characters, they put every single Mario or Nintendo character they ever had in every game. For instance, Smash Brothers, which is not in my top 5. But this is a game. This is the reason why I bought this system. Mario Kart Wii.
Oh, nice.
It was the first, the range of motion controller and the little steering wheel, and I only played like 3 games on Wii, and one was Mario Kart Wii, Smash Brothers, and the soccer game, and NHL, and the Mario Soccer, which was fun too. But
Mario Soccer was pretty fun, actually.
Yeah. So Mario Kart Wii, man, it was just and it was like really far end game content when you can get these. You could, one of the things was you raced enough times, and you can race backwards on the tracks. But you had to do it, I think, 1,000.
Well, that was the original one too. That was on the original Mario Kart too. Yeah.
Yeah, and the good thing is they've done so many they can bring back old courses and tracks, and you have a lot of fun.
Do they have the Rainbow one in there?
Yeah, that was that was Rainbow Road. Yes, that was Rainbow Road.
Oh, that one gave me headaches.
Yeah, you could not follow. Like you could
You
not
couldn't fall
stand that
straight.
track.
You
Right.
couldn't fall straight.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
My friends, it got to the point where my friends Isaac and Paul, that's the only one they would play. I'd be like, no, I hate this one. This is the best one. This is the best one. I'm like, no, we're not playing this.
Incorrect. This is the
Yeah, I
worst
hate
one.
it. But just with the controller, and I think Mario Kart Wii, it sold many units. It moved units over there for Japan, the company. But and now, of course, their new console, the Wii U, is struggling, but they're already building another one. We'll see how powerful that is. And they're getting into the mobile market, so we're going to have Mario Kart.
Exactly.
We're going to have Mario Kart on your iPhone, and that's going to be...
They're making Pokemon Shuffle on mobiles now, too.
Nice. Yeah.
Just so you know.
So there you go. Mario Kart number 5.
That might show up later.
Kevberto.
Just saying.
All right, so after begging for this Sega Genesis that came with columns, thank God. We all had this rich friend or this kid who was only kid maybe that had every game console, right, Don? That it was existent, right? I don't know, no, but
no, I'm just a big kid.
You are, yeah. So, so this kid, I told him, hey, I got Sega Genesis. This was a month after we were trying to master columns, and he was like, "Oh, I have 2 copies of Sonic the Hedgehog. Do you want one?"
Oh, damn!
And I was like, "Yes."
Who has 2 copies of a game? Period.
Yes.
Divorced children.
Exactly.
This is my dad copy. This is my mom copy.
Both on my birthday.
I just said what I wanted to Santa, and I got 2 of each.
So we would spend hours taking turns between the 4 of us kids. Because I had 2 sisters and 1 brother, so we would spend hours and hours trying to beat every level or see who would advance the furthest, and we would always hope for the person in front of you to lose, so you would
like
take
at
that
an
turn.
arcade, like at an arcade.
Exactly.
Yes.
But this actually was very helpful to our family because it unified us. It did, because my sister, the one in front of me who would turn in front of me. She actually made it the furthest in the game. So when she was, the furthest. She was discovering these new worlds, these new, places.
Levels, yes.
Yeah, levels. There you go. Whatever. So, we started, cheering for her. So we were all nervous and very tense. We were, chewing on our fingernails and stuff like that. So, Sonic the Hedgehog is my number 4.
Nice.
It's very special.
Who didn't like
Now
Sonic?
I know what to get you for your birthday. I'm going
That's
to get you a Sonic amiibo.
That's a good call. That's a good call.
I'm going to get you a copy of Echo the Dolphin.
Also, you could just get him a 3rd copy, or like a 2nd copy of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, why not?
Now then, you're the rich kid.
Yeah,
Right?
how about that? Nobody I know has 3 copies of Sonic the Hedgehog.
All right, my number 4. I shared last show that Pokemon was a shared experience that I have with my son. He likes the cartoon now that I liked it when I was a kid, or a young man, I should say. So my number 4 is along those same lines for video games also. This video game was his real first experience into the Pokemon video game world, and it was also a very awesome version on the new 3DS. That's Pokemon X. I don't know if you guys played it, but the starter Pokemon were actually really cool. Chespin, Froakie, and Fennekin, they were actually all really cool. Sometimes you get starter Pokemon, you're like, eh.
What, no Magikarp?
No Magikarp. Well,
Come on.
You can catch Magikarp, but
Well,
the ones you start with are
You gotta
pretty
catch
cool.
them all.
Plus, you get to start with, you got to pick from one of the original starters, too, that you got to pick. So you got a Charizard or a...
Nice.
So I picked him, and it was actually pretty cool because my son and I, we went through the whole game, we played it together, and we beat it together. So
Oh, that's cool.
it was a shared experience. So Pokemon X is my number 4.
Dude, when he
Nice.
turns 18, you guys should get Pokemon ball tattoos together. Cause seriously,
should.
Dude, that'd be
Hey,
awesome.
You know what? You can do that before 18 with parent consent.
All right, well, I got a problem and I'm proud of that. I had a friend that he had a tattoo, and when he was a junior, it was a soccer ball with the sun around it, like in the middle of the sun, and he had to get that tattooed over a couple of years later. Anyway,
Good story.
the point of me just interrupting everybody was the good thing about video games and the way that you're doing it is you're going to go through the whole thing, and you share your love of something, and now you're going to go through the whole transition of every Pokemon. And I mean,
right.
I don't really know
Yeah.
anything about the series. I know it's just going to be an awesome bonding experience, which we couldn't do when we were kids.
Exactly.
That's true.
Pokemon X.
Nice. Pokemon X. That To be real honest, that came sooner than I thought. Like, I thought Pokemon would have been like higher up in your list, but
Yeah, that's what.
Well, you know
what
what?
I was going to say.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a shared experience, but I have some of my own experiences
True.
with the video games.
right. Okay, I'll be interested to see what else you got going.
All right.
Weeblo's number 4 video game, Super Contra.
Yes.
Dang.
Is that on your list, Don?
No, Contra's not on my list. It's on my honorable mentions because, man.
Up, down, up, down.
Yep. Who didn't know that?
Who didn't know that?
Yeah.
In fact, the Konami code is so prevalent that it's pretty much in anything. Like if you use Google Hangouts at all, if you do the Konami code inside the chat window, it'll change the background.
Whoa.
Do
That's
it.
awesome.
That's cool.
It was also in Wreck-It Ralph. I just saw that.
Yep.
It wasn't
recently.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Yes.
You're proud of that movie, aren't you? You thought
That
Yes.
movie was
We
awesome.
will get to
it was
that
awesome. It was
That
awesome.
movie was
I'm not
awesome.
the only person that hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
So, no, Super Contra was awesome because like it took everything from regular Contra and made it bigger and better, including all the enemies and all the bad guys, like all the main bosses at the end of every level. I think I only got to like level 3 without using the Konami code.
Yeah.
Just because that game was hard. In fact, that game and another game called Battletoads, in my mind, have set up what's called Nintendo hard. Like kids these days, I say kids these days, I'm 34, but whatever. Kids these days will never know what a hard video game is. It's the video game that beats you down. It gives you 3 lives, 3 continues, and you have to beat the game. And if you don't beat the game in that time, you're screwed.
Womp.
You start over.
Zelda was like that too.
Zelda
The
was
original
like that.
Zelda was ridiculous.
Mario
Yeah.
Brothers, Super Mario Brothers.
That one
Man.
was like a masochist
the
dream.
jump at
Yeah.
the end, you could I got so mad because
Yeah.
I couldn't do that, and that was just at the end of the game we couldn't finish it.
Yeah. Super Contra.
All right, Don, you're up.
All right, mine.
Number
my
3.
Number 4.
Number
four.
3. Oh, you're on number 4.
Yeah, he's on number 4.
I'm last.
What number 4?
Don't jump the gun.
Excuse me. So excited.
So yeah, so like when you play multiplayer and there's other games like Star Wars Battlefront, which is my first real multiplayer experience, like on the Xbox Live system, and you play with other people and you just randomly matched up and you go shoot whatever you try to win. That was fun, but the way with the deeper content and the weapons and the strategy of the first person shooter, and the really first one I played was Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which I think was Call of Duty 4. And that was on Xbox 360. And man, I bought every Call of Duty since then, and I've been playing, but I'm not buying this year's. But that's a story for number 2. But I liked it, man, because I was in the military, so I see the jargon, and I'm like, oh man, this would be fun to do this, and this. And then if you get a team together, you can go and you can have fun and just kill people and bash people's heads in, and just be social with people and your friends, right? So it was fun.
Kill people, bash heads in, and be social.
It's a modern warfare.
It's better
man.
than that.
Okay,
Modern
right.
warfare.
That sounds like a Friday night to me.
Yeah, that's how we do it, man. That's how we do it. Funny story. My cousin met his girlfriend playing World of Warcraft. I know Kevberto and Craig heard that a million times. I'm sorry, wife.
Oh.
They are married.
Wow.
Yes. Playing
Wow.
World of Warcraft.
Right. Just literally. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that is not that game is not on my list. I haven't gotten into that game, although I lost a brother to that game.
Moment of silence.
Pour one out for the RC, which I'm sure will come up a million times during the podcast. So the RC. All right. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. From the guns and the deepness and the story mode and the multiplayer, it was the first of its kind. And the guys that did it, Vincent Pella, they founded Respawn Entertainment. And they just released Titanfall, which was kind of the first of the new generation of first-person shooters. Although they're going to have to come up with something way better for Titanfall 2 because of Destiny and Call of Duty and the new Battlefront. Oh, the new Battlefront is like third-person, so I don't know, but I'm going to try it out. So anyway, Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Now we're on number 3.
See.
Number 3.
Yes.
So this Sega Genesis, it lasted us a while because
Have you had any other systems?
I did. And this game was the last game we ever had. We bought for this system. And it was a dream come true. It was FIFA 97. This game was the first ever soccer game I played and knew that was in existence because my love for I love soccer. So that was my thing. From watching the cartoons to playing it to watching it real life, and finally I got to control some players. So
Yes.
This game was an addiction to me. So FIFA 97 on Sega Genesis.
Nice. I like that the Sega Genesis is like so important in your life that it's woven into 3 games. So
That's right.
Yeah.
respect.
Thank you.
I like it. Can I just say, FIFA didn't make my list. It made my honorable mention just because of the top 3 games that I on my list. But FIFA 98, Road to the World Cup. I play that game nonstop. I love that game, and you can bend the corner kicks, and it basically became a corner kick contest between me and my bro and my friends, and we just do Olympicos, which is kick the ball in on a corner every time. And so we had to play. We had to have a rule called, that was the best thing. Like in some games you can't be that character.
right.
You cannot be that character. We couldn't do that. Was the rule. We cannot do corner kicks. We cannot do Olympico, but you can get it right to the front of the goal if you want to. And we were that skilled.
So here's the deal about my number 3. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I have a baby, and I'm a busy guy. I have a wife.
Baby
I have
Nacho.
2 kids. I'm a busy guy. I don't have a whole lot of time to play video games, but when I do, when my wife goes to bed, when the kids are asleep, that's when I come out to play. I've got a depends 4-hour window after everybody goes to sleep. That's daddy time. That's papa time. That's when I get to just have some silence.
That's me time.
That's
as
when
the
I
women
listen
would
to
say.
podcasts. I consume radio. That's when I do what I want to do. And it may be the wee hours of the morning, but that's when I'm playing games, and that's when I've always played games is at night till I fall asleep. So throughout my years, I've played this game the most that I've played any other game in the entire history of any game. I've worn out many controllers playing this game. I've worn out systems playing this game.
Jeez.
This series of games. But for my list purposes, I'll say it keeps getting better every year. So my number 3 is FIFA 15 on Xbox 360. I played FIFA going back to old systems, probably even 97. I can't remember when I first picked up FIFA. But that's my decompress from the day video game while I mute it and listen to shows and do other stuff. FIFA 15, I mean, nothing really stands out that great from previous years. It gets harder every video, every series, every game in the series. It's harder to score goals. But I love the career mode. I love scouting and trying to get new players on my team and red carding against certain individual players that might play for a certain team that plays on the other side of the mountains. And
These are serious discussions every morning, usually.
Right.
yeah, what'd you do in FIFA last night?
I believe it.
That's right.
I'm missing out. I should probably get on the
The career
FIFA
mode is where it's
bandwagon.
at.
Yeah.
I've got certain dudes that I brought up from my youth academy at 15 years old when they were 60s when I brought them up, and now they're 80s on their national team. That's all you want. So FIFA 15 is my number 3 video game.
Nice. All right, so we got 2 FIFAs for number 3. I'm going to bring this back down a notch. So I will readily admit I'm not a huge sports game fan. And it's not because I don't like them. It's because they've gotten progressively more complicated.
Exactly. That's
So-
why I don't play Madden.
Right. Exactly. I cannot play Madden.
It's
I
hard
will
to pick
play.
it up.
That's
It
right.
is. I can play NCAA, but it's got to be 2005.
Right.
The best game for me on the sports, and this is completely tangential, was NHL 97
Totally.
because there were 4 buttons, and
right.
that was it.
Yep.
I would rack up goals like it was my job.
Peter Forsberg was the man in
Yeah,
that game.
Forsberg was the man.
Totally. Yeah.
You could change the controls now still to those controls.
Oh, really?
Yep, you can change the controls, and then you don't use any of the other buttons. You just use the analog. And
I might have to pick that up again then.
yep, that still happens.
Nice. All right, so my number 3 game is number 3 because it chewed up a solid in hours 5 days.
Dang.
That's 150 hours for you people counting. And this one is The Elder Scrolls Skyrim.
Oh man, yeah.
That game is huge.
The ga- yeah.
So huge.
The game was massive, and I loved every aspect of it. There was never a time when I would just go into the game and be bored. And it racked up 150 hours simply because I would go off, and I would just explore something, and then all of a sudden there I'd be attacked by like some bandits, or I'd be attacked by a bear, or I'd find like some thieves guild to have to go and just rough up or something. But there was never a lack of things to do in that game. Like, I think the biggest advancement for that game was when they made an update where it removed the leveling cap.
Yeah.
So you could go up to 100, and then you could make it legendary or whatever it was, and then it would go back down. I legendaried so many skills or whatever that my guy was just stupidly overpowered.
He was a god.
He would walk into any cave, and I would just slaughter people.
Dang.
It was awesome. And in fact, I had to sell it off, but I'm gonna buy it again. But the Game of the Year edition with all the DLCs.
Yeah.
Cool.
It sounds like a good deal. My number 3, and this game won Game of the Year in 2008. 2009. Whatever. Anyway, because it really changed the way that sports games were played, and really games were played because they didn't use the joysticks as much until this. And NHL 09, that's when they first started using the right. Your left analog joystick would be, moving, and your right analog stick you can shoot when you flick back and forward, or you can like deke or pass, and it really changed the way that games are played. And now more games use both joysticks instead of, and the circle, square, or A, B, X, Y buttons are not used as much for that. And this was really the one that changed it. NHL 09, and I played so much. And I played, the Avalanche. We've had some rough years here. So I played as one of their main division rivals, the Calgary Flames, and Dion Phaneuf, and I was boss at that game. We played so much with my friends, and it was on, and it was like it changed the whole game because even a face-off was a mini game. You had to flick the stick to the right. You had to guess which way the other guy was going to go, and you flick the stick, and then it got to the point where we'd have to hide the controller. And I saw a meme when you do penalties in FIFA, it's about the same thing. And I saw these guys wearing paper bags over their hands so they couldn't see which way they were going. And I'm like, why didn't I think of that in 2009? But you learn your friends' moves, and you would do it every time.
You picked Red Dog 0.
Yeah, so it really changed the way that the game was played, and now the controllers with, I think, 16 buttons or something. That's how it is, and you have to learn, and it becomes muscle memory, but
it's too many buttons.
As simple. Yeah, you're right. I mean,
it's too many buttons,
and it's crazy because like the modded controllers, they put them on the bottom so you can like flick it, so you don't have to take your hands off the joysticks now. And Xbox is coming out with one. It's called Xbox Elite controller.
Yeah,
and they're going to have automatically, and you could remap any button, change it to whatever you want, and then they're going to have the bumpers on the back, so you don't have to take your hands off the joysticks. But yeah, there you go. NHL 09.
All right, on to our runner-ups, our number 2s. Kevberto.
So this is way past Sega Genesis. By this time, I know. By this time, we had a GameCube. GameCube.
That was a solid system.
It was
best controller.
Solid system.
Yes,
best controller.
Yes, it was.
Not too many buttons.
Yes.
It had a joystick.
Perfect. I contend the Dreamcast was the best controller, but you know what? GameCube was pretty good.
It was.
Yeah. Okay.
It was awesome. So
I think that's another podcast.
The memory card is strong.
Yeah.
But you had to buy extra peripherals. Like you didn't have to do that. Go ahead, Kevberto.
No, that's fine. By this time, my parents had lightened up a little bit, so friends were allowed to come over.
Wow.
Just think about that.
Wow.
Think about that.
Let that one sink in for a minute.
Yes.
Just not to watch Animaniacs.
Right? Oh, man. So
come over to my house to watch some, what can you watch?
What can I
Supercampeones.
Supercampeones. Yeah, that was it. So
I said no.
So my friends would come over, and for this game, I was able to include my little brother. Back in the day, we were close. Now we're not. Anyway, I was just right.
Can I just say the main disagreement in your lives?
Yes.
You're a Mexico fan and he's a United States fan.
Yes.
In soccer.
Yes.
There you go.
Hey, that's going to be the next week's podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Come on.
The 5 reasons why we don't get along with our brothers.
Or siblings.
That's good. That's good. This therapy session.
That'll be so therapeutic. That's what I was going to say.
Rank them up therapy session.
Yeah, that's right.
So it was Medal of Honor European Assault.
Yeah.
Oh, good one.
This game was amazing. Like,
Medal of Honor was Call of Duty before Call of Duty.
It was. And then Medal of Honor tried to come back again and it failed.
Yeah.
And now they have Star Wars Battlefront. We'll see what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was, my introduction to multiplayer mode. It was awesome. So we would play up to, I would come home from school like 11 p.m. and we would play every weekend with my friends till like 4 in the morning. And it was just the greatest of times. So Medal of Honor,
You go
European
to
Assault.
school at 11 p.m.?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a brutal school schedule.
Well, I would work full time.
okay.
I would go to school
Okay.
full time, and then
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was going to say, geez, what were you learning? Not Medal of Honor,
no,
obviously.
not Medal of Honor, no. But I was pretty good at that game.
I have an admission to make about my number 2.
Oh, no. We're learning a lot about Craig in these
That's
podcasts.
right, exactly.
Right.
I didn't know about this.
Craig obviously needs some help, and we're here for Craig.
That's right. I really needed this to make friends and to be able to tell some secrets here. Number 2, up until this game, I had never beaten a game before in my entire life. And you will be like, "Oh, that's cool." You might have been like 5 years old. No, I was an adult. I played Super Mario, never could beat it.
That was a hard one,
Zelda, never could beat it. I played all kinds of games like that, never could beat it. But for the most part, I played sports games. There's no beating that. I mean, you beat the computer each individual game, but that's not beating the game.
Yeah, it's not
per
beating
se.
the whole game.
Right. There's no beating the game in sports games unless you win the Super Bowl or whatever. But I never beat a game like this. I never really got into RPG games. I never really got into Metal Gear Solid or any of the shooting games. Never did any of that stuff. And so somehow randomly I ended up with a copy of this game, put it in, and I did not shut the original Xbox off for probably a month.
Jeez.
Dang.
I mean, I racked up hours and hours and hours on this game.
5 days worth?
Just all day, every day. This game was so different, so new for me, so something I never really delve into a style of this game. You had different fighting types you could learn depending on which part of it. It was an open map, so you could go wherever you wanted, and I never played a game like that. You go fight in this thing, you get a different fighting style. You could have like 100 different fighting styles. The characters were awesome, interchangeable. There was 2 different schools of fighting, open fist or a closed fist and open hand. You could be a good guy or a bad guy, and depending on the choices you made, you would, if you were really a jerk, you could unlock certain jerk powers. If you were really a nice guy with your open fist, you could have really good guy powers.
I think I know.
It was amazing, and that game is Jade Empire.
I never played
Dang.
that.
Oh, the music, the art, the way, the story. It was such a fantastic game.
Nice.
I've never heard of it.
You guys should play it. It's by the same people that made Mass Effect.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the BioWare folks?
Yeah, and
Really?
I tried to play Mass Effect because everybody's like, "Oh, if you love Jade Empire, you love Mass Effect." Couldn't get into Mass Effect. Couldn't do it.
What?
Jade Empire was just I can never really play a game like that again because everything will be compared to Jade Empire,
Right.
and I just can't do it.
And that bar is set so high now?
I just can't do it. Yeah, I
Dude,
can't invest that much time into it. I just can't put myself out there because Jade Empire was so good.
Well, okay. Nothing risked, nothing earned, right? What is that?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. But that's my number 2.
Nothing ventured,
Number
nothing
2.
gained. How about that? Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
There you go.
I think that's right.
There you go. Go ahead.
All right. Dude, you should really try Mass Effect.
I've tried it. I've given
epic.
it the old college try. I've tried. I couldn't find my way around. I'm like, this is space.
You got
I
to
don't
push
know
through
what I'm
the
doing.
entire series, though. It'll make sense at the very end.
I just couldn't do it.
All right.
It's no Jade Empire. Jade Empire was like old karate like style move. It was old Asian. It was awesome.
Right. Okay.
I want to play this game now.
You should
I
try
want
it.
to go play this game.
I have this copy at my house. You can
I don't
borrow
have a
Nice.
system that can play it.
it. You can borrow my Xbox.
Okay,
There you go.
Thanks.
All right.
URC might have.
My number 2 was actually this game was actually pretty important in my life because, like Craig, up until this point, I hadn't actually beaten a real game. Like I beat Super Mario World, which came on the Super Nintendo, and I actually got to that point where I got like all the secrets and stuff in there too. And then I got introduced to role playing games on the Super Nintendo. And I'd never beaten a single role-playing game ever. Like, there was no way I was going to do it. And then a buddy of mine let me borrow a game that was mildly obscure unless you were just a huge, gigantic nerd. And this actually, I consider this game to be my gateway into nerddom. So
This is the gateway drug.
it is the gateway drug for me for role-playing games because they are addictive. Okay, my number 2 game is Final Fantasy 3
Dang.
or 6 if you are from Japan, or if you had a PlayStation, or if you bought any of the re-releases. So Final Fantasy 3 or 6 was incredible. I had never played a game that was so completely story-driven to the point where the bad guy who always wants to destroy the world actually does it. Like he goes into it and he's like, ha ha ha, I'm gonna destroy the world with fire. And you're like, no, you're not. We're gonna fight you. And sure enough, he destroys the world with fire. And like all of your characters are like, well, that sucks.
What do we do now? Right. This is a short game.
We kind of screwed the pooch on that one, guys. So there was that. There was also like, I think there was a sum total of 15 playable characters, all of which you could just like level up and just explode, or you could just leave them to the wayside and just have really terrible stats. But there was one character, and his only maneuver was mimic. So he would repeat everything that happened right before him. Now that in and of itself is dumb, right? That's a completely lame maneuver. But if you paired him with someone incredibly overpowered, you would get that same overpowered move twice.
That's cool.
So you would jack somebody for 9,999 points twice.
That's pretty cool.
And then the other secret hack was if you paired, like, there was a certain accessory that doubled your attacks. So you would hit for 1 and then you'd hit again. And then your next dude would come in and mimic and hit for 2 more. So you would just rock somebody's world.
So yeah, you can have a team of people. And by the way, if that happened today, there would be a patch out and that would have fixed it. Like,
yeah, absolutely. They'd be like, no, we can't do this.
You could have done that.
If it was broken back before, everything was connected, that's just how the game shipped.
Exactly.
Now there's a day 1 patch.
Everyone comes out with a day 1 patch now, which is lame. So yes, Final Fantasy 3 or 6, depending on your persuasion. Mine is Asian persuasion.
So is my number 2, and your number 2, Don.
Close. Number 2, and I'm in the midst of this, and it's just beginning, and that's why it's not number 1, because I don't know where this road is going to take me. I don't know the end game. I don't know where it's going to, if it's predetermined or whatever. But me and Craig, first of all, I looked at podcasts that I have. Everybody has their list of podcasts of what they listen to, and on my podcast app, we figured out that more than half of the podcasts I listen to are about this game.
Wow.
Okay.
It's a sickness, really.
That's not even all. That's not even.
We need help.
That's one. Craig and I were looking up. Because there's many websites. First of all, the reason I love this game so much is the community and people that will help. And
just like World of Warcraft.
Excuse me. No, it's not like that.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
How dare you? What are you saying? What are you implying?
Hey, I'm just saying. Please continue.
Wow.
So anyway, the community, and I've been on both sides of the coin. I've helped people, show them what to do, and then people have helped me. And that's how you get better. Is you need mentors, and you need teachers. That's how it works.
Wow.
And so Craig and I looked it up, and since the game came out. Apparently, I played this game 2.5 hours a day, every day.
Jeez.
And other than that, this is really like the first kind of game like this I played. Just like Lilo had with Final Fantasy and Skyrim, which I almost got into Skyrim, but I realized I can't put that much time into it. And by the way, I stopped buying another video game. Like I said, I'm not buying Call of Duty this year just because I want to play more of this game that I've invested all my time into. And that game is Destiny, all right? And the reason I like Destiny, it's a first-person shooter, but it has some MMO aspects to it.
Right. So, like dancing.
Yeah. Exactly. Emotes. Yes, emotes.
Yes, you can do emotes. That. Right.
Teabagging, although I take a strong stand against teabagging. I will not do teabagging, and if somebody does it to me, I will. It's on. It's on. I will tell other people, go after this guy.
Don will come after you.
Yeah, dude, with my computerized pixels. But it's just fun, man. It's just fun. You can do daily things, you got weekly things to do, and there's like some the multiplayer is fun, and then there's the player versus enemy, which is the AI, and you have end bosses and everything, and man, I play it a lot, maybe way too much. Pretty much every discussion that me and Craig have every day when I come to work is what I did in Destiny, and he doesn't really care. So it's like me talking
Here's
to.
the thing about Don and Destiny.
Yeah.
I'm glad he admitted it, because when he comes into work, it's normally
I know I do it.
It's in the afternoon. I've been putting in my work, and I've got 3/4 of my day done, and I'm just sitting there. I'm ready to be done for the day. In comes Don, who's been playing about the last 4 hours of Destiny, and it just Destiny. Here's what I did in Destiny. Destiny.
I've been caught in the line of fire. And I'm sorry, Craig.
Jeez. You know what? I listen. I appreciate everything that's being said. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
but I listen. I'm a good listener.
I'm glad that you started volleying back, and that is Pokemon. And I was like, I tried to get into it, but I'm like, I don't know.
So, your conversations could go, Don would come in with, Destiny, and Craig would be like, oh, that's cool, so I did this in Pokemon.
Exactly.
I tried to do, but he gave up on that.
I basically did, because it's
okay.
It's all one-way traffic. It's a one-way traffic stream. And when Don says we looked this stuff up, it's not really a we.
It's all Don.
I was there.
Craig was there.
But it wasn't me looking it up.
Awesome. I thought you were going to say Minecraft with the number of podcasts, but then I realized that it was your podcasts.
Yes.
And your
I
list.
wish I loved anything materially as much as Don loves Destiny.
Dude, it's the funnest game ever.
Yeah.
And it actually coincided with some events in my life that, I had some time off, so I had more time to play and get my mind off things. So it became almost more than a game. But I'm telling you, the community is really good. And there's websites. First of all, there's websites to find everything. There's many websites just to learn all about it. And by the way, if you guys knew how much time I spent on YouTube watching the videos about Destiny, you would know that the podcasts, I didn't even know I had 5 of those on there.
There's dating apps to get you a group on Destiny too, isn't there?
It's the 100.
That's outstanding.
The 100.io and planetdestiny.com has that, and then they're not dating apps. You just play together. You're trying to.
Are you sure?
A lot of like-minded individuals that want to get through the end game. Okay.
Why am I defending myself? Did they ask you to swipe right?
No, we don't do that. I don't know what that means.
For a legendary weapon?
I don't know what that means.
Would you like to see my legendary weapon?
Right. No compende.
All right, Berto, let's go to number 2. Number 1. This is our number 1.
Number 1.
This is our entries into the Mount Rushmore of video games. Kevberto, please give us your entry.
Dang it, Don. Why'd you have to make this emotional?
What?
Because the Destiny thing had an emotional part to it, your significance.
Just a little bit. It's fine.
Well, I'm going to do the same.
Take us back to the Sega Genesis, Kevberto.
No,
yes, please. One more Genesis game, please.
This is actually...
Echo the Dolphin.
That is awesome.
That would be epic.
This is actually a GameCube game.
Oh.
And this, the reason why it's so important to me and why it's my number 1 is because in my culture... by the time you are, you're not expected to move out at 18. You are expected to be, if you move out, it's because you're married and you're already going to have a kid.
You come from this country, though. You're from this country, though, correct?
I grew up in this country,
okay,
yeah. But my culture is from another country.
No, the culture is this culture of America.
What is the culture?
Prom. Did you have prom?
Did I go to prom?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, sorry,
Did you
buddy.
have a prom?
We did have a prom.
Okay. Then you're in this culture, man.
Right. But you have to understand that there is a mix of
I know
cultures
there's still
in this place.
I get exactly what you're saying, Kevberto, because my parents are the same way. They're old school Filipinos. So yeah, I gotcha.
Thank you. Thank you.
But they've also assimilated to this country. Thank you.
Yeah, so has my family.
You know the Santos family?
Maybe. You got me on that one. Sorry. Go ahead, Kevberto. I'm not trying to criticize your culture. I'm just saying you grew up in this country.
Yeah. So by this time, college.
I'm just glad that your parents learned the language and
Thank you.
Please give us your number.
I'm sorry. That's enough.
Number 1. Go.